Okay, so this is Makarov owner. I wanted to go ahead and do a little video on decapping Berdan, and I'll show you how I do it. This with 308. So this is a 308 die, and so there's water that I put inside the case there, and it goes ahead and drives that Berdan primer out. So the case sides, mouth, and all that stuff are supported by the lead die. I pull the decapper out, and I go ahead and use the shell holder. That way this case is completely supported. And then I go ahead and lower this ram down to a given point. Each shell's a little bit different. So what we do is you fill up your casing. In this case it's 308. Fill it up with water. And it needs to be really full, so when you're seeing it in the top there, you're actually seeing the shell like this. This is just inserted in the neck. I actually size these first before I do it, so neck and full length resize is done. This barely fits down in here, and then I hit it really hard, and this piece is just a long nut, and it stops from overdriving and wrecking the threads on my die. And then when I bring that arm in the reverse position, it actually works to extract this out of the shell. So it works pretty slick. I made this on my metal lathe, so I'll do another one here. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes you wreck shells. So it's not 100%, but in this case it's working pretty good with these particular cases. So that was another one. I'll just do a few more here. So, you know, I was always told that Berdan was something that you couldn't reload and what have you. I'm finding that that's not the case. In fact, I'm finding that there was a guy, I don't remember his name, but he loaded some information about Berdan having to do with reloading AK stuff. And he showed using large Berdan, or excuse me, large boxer primers, and reloading the AK steel cases with those. And he said that you had to pull the anvil out of the primer in order to make it work. So far, these are going 100%. Yeah, I'll probably just jinxed myself. But he said you had to pull the anvil out of the boxer primer, and I'm finding that I tested that, it didn't work for me. So what I actually do is just, there is enough room in these larger shells to go ahead and leave that anvil in the boxer primer. I don't do anything with the flash holes whatsoever, and the boxer primer, the primers are actually a little bit large. That one did not go. I'm going to set it aside. I'll probably come back to it. That might be one of those fussy guys that, you know, may not work. And when they don't, it sucks. You end up having to fuss with them quite a bit. And you might just lose the shell. So, that happens. Yeah, it does. But you can see the percentage that I'm getting here is pretty high. It's not taking me a long time. It's not as fast as doing boxer, but it's doable. So anyway, back to the primer issue. Using large boxer primers, large rifle boxer primers, you can actually insert them into your cartridge and they will fit. They're actually loose. And I use super glue, or I steal my wife's fingernail glue, which works like super glue, and you glue those cases in, or primers rather, into the case. And you know, if in doubt, just put the primer in, shove it in your rifle before you load it with anything. Go test fire it. You can find out that it goes bang, and that's exactly what I did, because I was like, I don't know about this. But it works. So, you know, I was worried, well, is the primer gonna, you know, pop out of the case? Is there going to be any kind of other problems that are going to be something I need to concern myself with? And the answer to that seems to be no. So, you know, I'm going to end up turning all these cases upside down and let them dry, because I could see that I could end up fouling my primers or my powder if I go too fast and I have wet cases. So anyway, just thought I'd share while I was doing this. I've got a bunch of the AK steel cases to do, 7.62 by 39. Well, not a bunch, but a few. That one's already been done. I did a 7.62 by 45 steel case yesterday, and that one came out perfect as well. So, and I did find when you go to the boxer primers and you're dinking around with those guys, trying to take that anvil out of the boxer primer, for me, made it to where the primer did not work. It just didn't work. So if I left the anvil in, there was enough room in there to do what I wanted to do. So anyway, that's about all I wanted to say. I just thought I would share that as I'm doing this a little bit. This is from the stuff I shot the other day. It's a bunch of surplus that I got, God knows when. And, you know, I'm going to shoot it, but my Remington, it doesn't like to eject this stuff. It'll fire it downrange just fine. But I'm having trouble with the action and the trigger and what have you. Not so, now it's getting to where it will feed and so forth just fine. It's getting to the point though that it's like, for whatever reason, the trigger wants to jam after the spell is, or the shell is fired, and that just drives me freaking crazy, man. I ought to be able to pick up a rifle and have it work. Taking it to the gunsmith and had some work done on it, and is better, but it's not right. And you know, I spent a couple of $100, over a couple of $100, having the chamber polished and all that good stuff, and that seems to have helped quite a lot. I think I got it that time. Alright, so that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 shells done in just a few minutes. I didn't time it, but you can do that according to the video. So anyway, it's, you know, it makes a little bit of a mess, but I can reuse my Berdan cases, and you know, you might say, well, there's enough boxer around, I don't need to worry about it. Well, that's true. Probably right now you don't need to worry about it, but you know, I don't have a box of shells. I have thousands of rounds of shells, and do I need that many? No, but I want to have them for me because I like them. So I don't want to have to worry about not having what I want because of somebody else's wishes at some other point in time. So, you know, I want to make sure that I stay in good supply, and I'm willing to pay the cost in order to do that and spend the time, and I enjoy it. So anyway, that's another story. But I just thought I'd share that. Have a good night. Thanks. Bye.